Hi, it's Tracy from Tracy's Creative Place here. I just thought I'd pop on and do a quick video, as a few people have asked me how I did this background technique with the clouds on this card. So I thought I'd redo the card in slightly different colourway and I can show you how to do that. So here's all the supplies that I've got that I'm going to use. Okay, I've used for this card clearly besotted stamps, and these are called I think Mr. and Mrs. Hoot and Fairy Tale Endings. So that's those, and they actually come with, I always keep them in the back so that I don't lose them. They come with a die that will cut out the little owls, so on that pack, and on this one they come with a die that will cut out the floral wreath part there, which is pretty handy. No fussy cutting is required. So what I've done is I've already pre-done the owls and the little wreaths, and I've stamped them in Memento Tuxedo Black, and I've coloured them in a variety of pens, either Copics or Pro Markers, the alcohol pens. Obviously when you use Memento ink, the ink doesn't run if you use alcohol ink pens. So you could, I suppose, you could do them by embossing them with embossing powders and inks and whatever colour you want, and then you could watercolour these images, because they're only small. They don't take a right lot of colouring or shading. So, you know, as you can see, I've done a slightly different colourway on this one, and I'm going to use a darker ink just to show you the difference in the cloud effect. So those have been stamped and they've been pre-mounted and ready, and they're all done, ready to go straight on here. The only other thing I'm using is a piece of lace to wrap around, and this template. Now this template, as you can see, it's not mine. It was from a lady called Bev Rochester, and you simply go onto her website, which is there, bevsblogspot.com, and you can print yourself out a sheet of them, cut one out, and that's what we're going to use. I've been using one for years, God, years. This is the one that I used on the last one. I just keep it to one side and keep reusing it. You know, it's pretty good. She gives it for free. So check her stuff out, because she's got some lovely things on there too. So I'm using a DL card, which came from Anna Marie Crafts, and I'm using some purple linen card. I've had that for a long time. I think I got it in the range. And I'm also using just a piece of white card, and I've stamped, pre-stamped and sort of coloured in. Not very detailed, just to give a kind of ink wood type effect. So what you do with this template is very simple. You just pop it on where you want, and now in this instance I'm using Stormy Sky Distress ink. You can use oxides as well if you want. On the previous one I used tumbled glass, and it was like a lighter effect. So this one you are going to get like a slightly darker Stormy Sky colour. So load up your ink pad, pop your template on, and all you do is simply go over your template. Now this doesn't have to be particularly precise, and you will get that effect. Okay, so rather than keep coming down in the exact same way down like that, just vary your template by sliding it off to one side, and then you just go over it again. Okay, and then you can move it again, so it's a slightly different cloud formation. You can even turn it over and have it coming on that way, so that gives you something slightly different. So all you basically do is just keep working it all the way down your page so that you can get the cloud effect that you want. So if you notice, what I'm doing is kind of not pressing too heavily now. I started off quite heavy at the top, but I'm not pressing too heavily now. I'm pressing quite lightly because I want to see some of the white of the paper come through, which obviously gives you the cloud effect. So just keep varying your templates all the way down, turning it over, moving it side to side, and this is how you get the cloud effect. It's not difficult to do. It's quite an effective way of making a background. And I've used it quite a lot. I use it quite a lot. You can use it with, you know, hot air balloons and kites and planes and, you know, anything that belongs in the sky, really. And just keep moving it down, moving it across until you get right to the bottom. Whoop, be careful when you get to the bottom. Try and press on it so that your card doesn't move about. And I'll do one last one, which will look something like that. And then when you get to the bottom, just gently fill in. You can, if you want, go around the outsides to darken the sides, but I'm not going to. I kind of like that effect where it gets lighter and lighter and lighter as it comes down. Okay, so now basically it's just putting the card together. So the first thing I'm going to do is wrap a piece of lace around this edge. So I'll need some tape to secure the lace on the back. And a pokey tool, because I have no nails. Excuse my hands, I have been working on a mixed media project as well, so my hands are still a bit mucky from that. So secure the lace around the edge and tuck it in on the back so you catch it. Make sure it's straight. Okay, so bring in a purple piece for the matte layer. I'm just going to flat glue this down using Pinflair bookbinding glue. Use it for everything. It's my favourite glue. It's my favourite go-to glue. And I've cut it so it's got a little border, and this is a DL card or a slimline card as they're now calling them. So this then needs to go on top. So you can either use foam pads or use glue. In this instance, for speed, I'm going to use glue. There we go. So you just pop it down on top, and I've left a small border all the way around again, so you can see the purple behind it, or lilac-y colour. And the little owls next are going to go on there, but I'm going to use a foam pad just to raise them up a bit, give them a bit of dimension. You can use one or two on top of each other if you want them to really stand out. Depends on if you're posting them or not, I suppose. Okay, so I'm just going to pop the owls on the swing there. Now, this part you can decide how high up you want it. Okay, so I'm going to put it about there, and I'm going to glue those ones flat. But obviously, this swing ends here. So if you just take a fine liner, this one is 0.5, and a ruler, if you can find one. And all you need to do is just draw those lines a little bit further up. And don't worry if you don't get the lines to join absolutely straight here. I mean, I was lucky there, I did. But if you don't worry, because you can always, like that one's not straight, perfect, okay. You can always draw in a little squiggle just to hide that, and that's absolutely fine. You can get away with it. So I'm going to pop these down about here, and I am going to just glue them flat. Have it so it comes round slightly towards the owl, and then this one I'm going to put on the other side, like so. And then in the middle I have stamped out one of those, cut it out, and I'm just going to, because there's a join there that I'm not right keen on, so I'm just going to pop that on there. Maybe the right way up would be good. There we go. And then all that's left to do is decide which of the sentiments that come with that you want to use. So I quite like the Mr. and Mrs., but I also quite like the Happily Ever After, and this one I'll put on with a foam pad. I might have to trim one down. Here we go. Remove off the backs. And I'm just going to pop that right in the middle there, Okay, now what I also like to do with my projects is just scatter a few of something, whether it's sequins or whether it's these little glass shards. It just gives a little bit of sparkle, I think. So if you just pop randomly a few of these, it just gives something else to the project, I think. There's a sequin there as well. I'll pop a sequin on, why not? Oops, missed. Yeah, sequin's annoying. It doesn't look right because everything else, I've only got one and really need to reorder some sequins. I use a lot. Okay, so pop it in the glue. And there you are. There you have it. A very simple, very easy background technique. With minimum products really. So I hope you like that, and I hope you give it a go, and if you do, tag me, that would be great. So well, that's it from me, so bye for now.